You keep giving, loving, proving, yet nothing feels enough, does it? You chase acceptance until you forget who you are. But here's the truth. No one tells you the world will never choose you until you finally choose yourself. Buddhism calls this the beginning of self-mastery, the silent revolution of the soul, where you master your emotions, master your life, and rise beyond approval into peace. The greatest victory is to conquer one's own mind. So tonight we'll uncover the ancient Buddhist teachings that show how when you work on yourself and become the best version of your being, the universe begins to rearrange itself around you. Before we begin, subscribe to Buddha's Eternal Wisdom, where every video is a doorway to calm, clarity, and timeless Buddhist insight you won't find anywhere else. Stay till the end. There's a powerful bonus lesson that reveals the exact moment the universe starts choosing you. 1. Stop losing yourself to be loved. There comes a moment when you realize no matter how hard you try, you cannot be loved by losing yourself. You may bend, shrink, or silence your truth to be accepted, but each time you do, something sacred within you dims. Why do we mistake self-abandonment for love? Why do we believe that peace is found in pleasing others while our own soul weeps in silence? You cannot serve from an empty bowl. These words carry the quiet truth of centuries, like a candle trying to light others while its own flame fades. We keep giving away our energy, our light, hoping it will earn us love. Yet, the more we do, the colder we become inside. Love, in its purest form, was never meant to cost your wholeness. Imagine your heart as a temple. Every time you say yes when your soul whispers no, a small crack forms in its walls. At first it's invisible, but over time light seeps out through those fractures and the temple begins to lose its strength. You keep smiling, helping, saying, "I'm fine," while inside the echoes of truth grow fainter. There is a kind of suffering that hides beneath kindness, the pain of betraying yourself for harmony. It may appear noble, but in truth it is self-neglect disguised as love. The Buddha taught that attachment to illusions creates suffering, and one of the greatest illusions is believing that love requires you to disappear. Real compassion begins only when it includes you. Ask yourself gently, when was the last time you silenced your voice just to be accepted? What would it feel like to love without losing yourself? To give, not from fear, but from fullness. Who would you become if you stopped begging for love and started embodying it? The moment you choose yourself, not in arrogance, but in awareness, the universe shifts. You begin to attract people and experiences that reflect your truth, not your wounds. When you honor your boundaries, life honors you back. When you treat your energy as sacred, the world begins to respond in reverence. So stop running after those who only love your weakness. Be still. Let your silence speak. Rebuild your temple, brick by mindful brick. Because when you finally choose yourself, the universe chooses you too. Not out of pity, but out of recognition. Remember this. The world doesn't need a version of you that's easy to love. It needs the version of you that loves truth. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "I finally chose myself." 2. Honor your energy. It teaches others how to treat you. What if the world is only mirroring the way you treat yourself? What if every relationship, every opportunity and every challenge is simply reflecting back the vibration of your own inner energy? In the stillness of the heart, you'll find a truth that can change everything. Life does not give you what you desire. It gives you what you believe you deserve. As within, so without. These 4 words carry the essence of balance, the quiet wisdom that shapes the rhythm of the universe. Your self-worth is like a tuning fork. Everything around you vibrates to match its frequency. If your heart hums with self-doubt, life will echo uncertainty. But if your soul vibrates with peace, the world begins to harmonize with your calm. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the quiet pulse in your chest. Steady, rhythmic, alive. That is your inner vibration. The sacred language by which life hears you. What tone are you teaching existence to echo back? Do you fill your days with gentleness or with self-criticism? Do you grant yourself the same patience you offer to others? Every thought, every boundary, every no or yes is a message you send to the universe, teaching it how to treat you. In Buddhist teaching, energy follows intention. When you honor your energy, you send out a frequency of self-respect, and what returns to you reflects that same grace. Yet when you ignore your needs, allow exhaustion to replace peace, or let fear dictate your choices, you silently teach the world to disregard you as well. The outer world is only the mirror. The lesson begins within. Ask yourself, what energy do you radiate when you walk into a room? Do you enter seeking to prove your worth, or do you arrive knowing it is already sacred? What boundaries would self-respect set for you today? Remember, boundaries are not walls. They are temples, places where peace is protected and love is kept pure. The moment you begin to treat your time, emotions, and energy as holy, something miraculous happens. The universe listens. The people around you start responding to your calm instead of your chaos. Life begins to align not with your fears, but with your faith. When you finally choose to honor your energy, you stop chasing love. You attract it. You stop demanding respect. You embody it. And slowly, the universe starts to bow in harmony with your truth. Because when you choose yourself, the universe has no choice but to choose you too. 3. Detachment is the deepest form of love. Can you love someone without needing to own them? Can your heart remain open even when nothing is guaranteed to stay? These are the questions that reveal the difference between attachment and love. One binds, the other liberates. Most of our suffering comes not from love itself, but from the grasping that hides beneath it. We want people to stay, situations to unfold our way, and life to obey our expectations. Yet the more we cling, the more peace slips through our fingers. Attachment says, I want you to make me happy. Love says, I want you to be free. In Buddhist wisdom, true love does not cage. It celebrates the flight. It does not demand permanence. It honors presence. Love, in its purest form, is like the open palm of a monk. Nothing is held, yet nothing is lost. When you open your hand, you stop suffocating what you cherish. And in that sacred space of letting go, peace finally breathes. Close your eyes and take a slow, gentle breath. Bring to mind someone you love deeply. Feel their essence as you inhale their laughter, their warmth, their presence. Now exhale and let them drift through your breath, still loved, still free. This is love in its highest vibration. Not ownership, but reverence. Not control, but compassion. What are you clinging to that's keeping you small? The need to be understood, the desire to be chosen, the fear of being left behind. These are weights on the heart. The Buddha taught that clinging is the root of suffering, not because life is cruel, but because everything that exists is meant to flow. When you stop trying to trap love, you begin to experience it in its truest beauty. How would your love change if you stopped trying to control outcomes? Could freedom and love coexist in your relationships? When you release someone, you don't lose them. You meet them again, this time without fear. Detachment does not mean you stop caring. It means you care so deeply that you allow truth to guide the bond instead of your ego. When you love without attachment, you stop chasing what was never meant to stay and begin attracting what's destined to align. The universe mirrors your serenity. The right people remain, not because you hold them tight, but because they too recognize the peace in your open hand. So love bravely. Let go gently, because the deepest form of love is not possession, it is presence. And when you master that, the universe itself begins to love through you. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "I finally chose myself." 4. Stop negotiating with your weakness. Why do we so often compromise our peace just to stay comfortable? Why do we keep negotiating with the very patterns that drain our light? There's a quiet suffering in choosing familiarity over freedom, in choosing to stay the same because change feels uncertain. Yet the truth is simple and piercing. You cannot heal in the same energy that made you sick, like watering a dead plant because you once loved its flowers. We keep feeding situations, habits, and people that no longer nourish us. We tell ourselves stories of loyalty, of duty, of hope, but beneath them lies fear. Fear of letting go. Fear of being alone. Fear of meeting ourselves beyond the walls of comfort. But growth does not happen in comfort. It happens in the trembling space between who you were and who you're meant to become. Imagine yourself standing before two doors. One is labeled comfort, the other growth. Comfort feels familiar. It smells like the past, soft and known. Growth, however, is silent, uncertain, and new. Most people choose the first door thinking peace lives there. But peace isn't found in stagnation. Peace blooms in courage. The courage to walk through the door that your fear avoids. Ask yourself, what habits quietly steal your energy each day? The endless scrolling, the people-pleasing, the self-doubt disguised as humility. Which part of you keeps justifying pain as loyalty? Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is to stop explaining your suffering and simply stop choosing it. The Buddha taught that the mind is both the cause and the cure of suffering. Every time you choose weakness over truth, you feed the illusion that you are powerless. But every small act of discipline, waking early, saying no, sitting in silence, becomes a seed of freedom. True strength is not loud or forceful. It is calm, consistent, and deeply aligned with peace. So, what would strength look like for you today if it wasn't loud? Perhaps it's walking away from what no longer honors your heart. Perhaps it's trusting that the universe supports the brave. Because when you stop negotiating with your weakness, you begin aligning with your destiny. Remember, your peace is not a prize you must earn. It's a truth you must protect. And when you finally choose yourself with quiet conviction, the universe begins to choose you too. Not out of luck, but because your energy now speaks the language of self-respect. 5. The universe mirrors your self-belief. What if your reality is not rejecting you? It's reflecting you. What if every delay, every silence, every closed door isn't punishment, but a mirror showing you the vibration you're sending into the world? The truth is subtle yet profound. Life doesn't respond to your words, it responds to your belief. You receive not what you ask for, but what you are ready for. The universe is like a still pond. It only returns the image you offer. If you stand at its edge and whisper, "I am unworthy," the ripples will echo that truth back in forms of rejection and doubt. But when you stand with quiet conviction and affirm, "I am enough," the waters shift. The reflection becomes clearer. The world begins to mirror your new frequency. Close your eyes and imagine dropping a single thought into that pond. I am enough. Watch the ripples expand outward, touching every corner of your life. This is not imagination. It's energy in motion. The vibration of your belief travels further than you think. It shapes your relationships, influences your opportunities, and calls forth experiences that match your self-perception. In Buddhist wisdom, the mind is the forerunner of all things. What you hold within, you project without. The world you experience is a reflection of your inner weather. When your mind is cloudy with self-doubt, even blessings appear dim. But when the mind becomes clear, the same world begins to shine. This is why awakening begins not by changing your life, but by changing your lens. Ask yourself softly, what belief about yourself keeps you from being fully chosen? Do your thoughts support your destiny or sabotage it? What vibration do your daily choices carry? Every thought is a signal, every emotion a request sent out to the universe. The more you dwell on lack, the more lack you summon. But when your energy aligns with gratitude, peace, and self-trust, reality rearranges itself to meet you there. The Buddha once taught that your mind creates the world. This means the moment you shift from self-doubt to self-belief, life begins to shift with you. The universe does not need to be convinced. It simply needs you to resonate with what you seek. So stop waiting for signs of worthiness. Become the sign. Because when you finally choose to believe in yourself, not loudly but deeply, the universe recognizes its reflection in you. And then, as always, it begins to choose you too. 6. Surrender is not giving up, it's trusting the flow. What if surrender is the most powerful action of all? We are taught that strength means control, that we must fight, plan, and push our way through life. But the Buddha's wisdom whispers a gentler truth. The river does not force its flow, yet it reaches the ocean every time. Letting go is not loss, it's alignment. Like a leaf resting upon the current, surrender means trusting the movement of life itself. The leaf does not argue with the river's direction, it simply allows. And still, it arrives exactly where it's meant to be. In the same way, when you release your grip on outcomes, you begin to experience a deeper intelligence guiding your path. One that doesn't come from control, but from connection. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine yourself floating on calm water, your body supported, your mind silent. The water carries you effortlessly, not because you stopped trying, but because you finally stopped resisting. That's what surrender feels like. It is not weakness. It is the wisdom of recognizing that you are not separate from the flow of life, but part of it. Ask yourself quietly, what are you trying too hard to control? The people you love, your career, the timing of your peace. Every time you clutch at what's uncertain, you create tension between who you are and what life is trying to teach you. But when you soften your grip, the lessons begin to unfold. The Buddha taught that clinging leads to suffering, not because life is cruel, but because control is rooted in fear. Surrender, on the other hand, is rooted in faith. What would it feel like to trust life again? To believe that what leaves does so to clear space, and what arrives does so to fulfill purpose. The moment you stop demanding certainty, you make space for miracles. True surrender is not quitting, it's shifting your effort from force to flow, from pushing to allowing. Can you rest without losing momentum? Because real progress is born not from restlessness, but from alignment. When you move with the current, your energy multiplies. When you move against it, even success feels heavy. So breathe deeply. Trust that where you are is where you're meant to be. The universe doesn't reward control, it rewards trust. And when you finally surrender your need to force life, you discover that life, in its quiet wisdom, has already chosen you. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "I finally chose myself." 7. Choosing yourself is the end of begging. What changes when you no longer wait for validation? When you stop standing outside the gates of other people's approval, begging to be seen, to be chosen, to be enough. There comes a moment when your spirit grows weary of convincing others of your worth. And in that exhaustion lies awakening. The truth is, the door you've been knocking on has been inside you all along. Imagine a king who forgets he is wearing the crown. He leaves his palace, searching the streets for belonging, pleading for recognition, unaware that everything he seeks is already his. This is how most of us live, royalty in exile, disconnected from our own sacredness. We wait for love, success, and validation, unaware that the power to choose ourselves was never given away, it was only forgotten. Close your eyes and imagine reclaiming your inner throne. There is no audience, no applause, no one to impress. Just you, sitting in stillness, breathing in your own enoughness. This is what choosing yourself feels like: quiet, steady, and deeply liberating. The noise of seeking fades, and what remains is presence, the kind of peace that no one can grant or take away. Whose approval still governs your decisions? The world's, your family's? The echo of old wounds that told you you weren't enough. Each time you make a choice from fear or validation, you abandon your throne. But each time you act from truth, even when no one understands, you return to it. The Buddha taught that liberation is found not in seeking more, but in seeing clearly. To see clearly is to know that your worth was never up for negotiation. What if you no longer needed to prove your worth? What if your value didn't depend on being liked, chosen, or praised? When you stop begging for acceptance, you begin creating it from within. You start attracting people and situations that align with your wholeness, not your wounds. How would you move if you remembered you were already chosen? You would stop chasing what runs, stop forcing what resists, and stop dimming what shines. You would speak softer, walk slower, love deeper, because peace would no longer need to be earned. Choosing yourself is not rebellion, it is remembrance. It is the end of begging and the beginning of becoming. And when you finally sit upon your inner throne, life itself bows in return. Because the moment you choose yourself, the universe remembers who you are too. 8. Compassion without boundaries is self-destruction. Can love exist without boundaries, or does it collapse under its own weight? Many believe that true compassion means endless giving, saying yes when the heart whispers no, offering light even when our own flame is fading. But love without structure does not heal, it harms. Even monks close the temple gates at night, not to reject the world, but to protect the sacred stillness within. A river without banks turns into a flood. It loses direction, purpose, and power. In the same way, love without boundaries becomes chaos, a beautiful force that no longer nourishes, but overwhelms. Compassion is meant to flow, not to drown. It must be guided by wisdom, not guilt. You are not here to carry everyone, you are here to carry truth. Close your eyes and visualize a soft golden circle surrounding you. Within this circle lives your peace, calm, sacred, and untouched. This is your energetic boundary. Love flows freely inside it, but what does not serve your highest good cannot cross it. You do not need to build walls, you only need to define where love ends and self-neglect begins. Ask yourself gently, where do you need to say no even if it hurts? Which relationships, habits, or duties drain your spirit under the disguise of compassion? The Buddha taught that balance is the middle path, and this includes the balance between caring and protecting. True compassion protects you first, for only a nourished heart can nourish others. How does true compassion protect, not drain you? It does so by reminding you that self-care is not selfishness, it is sacred maintenance of your light. A monk's compassion does not come from exhaustion, but from equilibrium. The candle that burns wisely burns long enough to guide others home. What boundary would honor your highest peace today? Perhaps it is silence where there was always explanation, rest where there was constant effort, or distance where there was attachment. Each boundary you set teaches life how to honor your energy. Remember, to love everyone is noble, but to lose yourself in the process is not real love. Breathes freely when it is framed by respect. So let your kindness be deep, but let it be disciplined. Because when you choose to protect your peace, you're not withdrawing from love, you're strengthening it. And in that sacred protection, the universe begins to protect you too. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "I finally chose myself 9. Let silence choose for you." What wisdom arises when you stop rushing to decide? So often we confuse motion with progress, noise with clarity, and urgency with importance. But in the stillness between thoughts lies a deeper guidance, one that whispers, not shouts. Silence is the language of clarity. When you stop forcing answers, life begins to reveal them in its own rhythm. Like the moon reflected in still water, truth can only be seen when the mind stops trembling. When the surface is calm, the reflection is perfect. But when disturbed, even the brightest moon becomes distorted. The same happens within us. We make choices out of fear, haste, or pressure, and then wonder why peace feels distant. Yet if we simply waited for stillness, the right path would appear on its own, soft but certain. Close your eyes. Sit still and listen to the space between breaths, that silent gap where your intuition lives. There, in that sacred pause, your higher self speaks. It doesn't argue or demand. It simply knows. The Buddha taught that wisdom arises in emptiness, not in excess. When your mind is quiet, you hear the harmony of the universe guiding you back to balance. What decisions in your life feel noisy? The ones that keep you awake, spinning in cycles of what if and what now. These are not calls to act faster. They are invitations to slow down. Can you trust stillness more than urgency? Can you believe that waiting does not mean wasting time, but gathering clarity? In silence, the false falls away, and only truth remains. Picture your thoughts as leaves floating on a river. Let them pass one by one. Beneath them, the water is always still. That stillness is your wisdom. When you rest there, decisions no longer come from confusion. They arise naturally, like dawn after a long night. What answer has been waiting for you in silence? Perhaps it's not about doing more, but about listening better. The universe does not rush. It flows. When you match its pace, you stop chasing clarity. You become it. So let silence choose for you. Let it show you what is real, what is necessary, and what is yours to carry. Because when your mind is quiet, the heart becomes your compass. And when you finally trust that silence, the universe begins to speak through it, always guiding you home to yourself. 10. The art of allowing life to happen. What if resistance is the real source of pain? We spend so much of life wrestling with what is, trying to bend moments into the shape of our desires. Yet, like gripping water too tightly, the more we resist, the less peace we hold. Suffering ends when you stop insisting life must go your way. The Buddha once taught that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional, because suffering begins where acceptance ends. Think of the clouds. They don't fight the wind. They move, reshape, dissolve, and yet they never stop being the sky. This is the art of allowing, not giving up, but flowing with life as it unfolds. Every gust of wind, every change of shape, every moment of uncertainty becomes part of the greater design. When you stop demanding that life obey you, you begin to see how gracefully it already carries you. Imagine your worries dissolving into clouds, drifting effortlessly across a vast blue sky. Watch how they move, not by force, but by surrender. The sky doesn't lose itself when clouds come and go, it simply allows. In the same way, your essence remains untouched beneath the storms of change. To allow is to trust that every ending is leading somewhere unseen, that every detour has its reason, and that every delay carries wisdom. What are you resisting that's trying to teach you? Perhaps it's not punishment, but preparation. Life rarely unfolds according to our timing, but it always unfolds according to truth. When we soften our grip, we begin to see that the moments we feared most were quietly shaping our strength. Can peace exist amid uncertainty? Yes. When we stop demanding certainty to feel peaceful, peace is not found in control, but in surrender. What if letting go is the only way forward? Every time you release your insistence on how things should be, you create space for how they can be. The art of allowing is not passive, it's powerful. It invites trust to replace tension and faith to replace fear. Let life move through you as the wind moves through trees, gently, purposefully, without resistance. Allow each experience, each emotion, each change to come and pass like seasons. In doing so, you discover that peace was never lost, only hidden beneath your struggle to control. When you finally choose to allow life, you find that life has already been choosing you all along. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "I finally chose myself 11. The universe chooses those who are aligned. What happens when your inner world matches what you seek? The universe, like a silent mirror, responds not to your wishes, but to your vibration. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. When the student is ready, the path appears. Readiness is not about perfection, but alignment. When your inner energy no longer fights against what your soul already knows to be true, a seed doesn't chase the sun, it simply grows toward it. It doesn't worry about how or when it will bloom. It just allows its nature to unfold, trusting the soil, the rain, and the rhythm of light. This is how alignment works. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions move in harmony with your truth, life doesn't have to be forced, it begins to flow. Opportunities start finding you not by accident, but by resonance. Feel the quiet confidence of a seed. It doesn't compare itself to other blossoms, it doesn't rush its own becoming. It simply trusts that the timing of the universe is never wrong. Can you feel that same stillness within you? The part that already knows you are not behind, you are not lost, you are growing exactly where you are meant to. The sun doesn't ignore the seed that grows toward it, and the universe never overlooks a heart that is aligned. Are your desires aligned with your truth or your wounds? Sometimes what we call ambition is actually a cry for validation. Sometimes what we call love is a plea not to be abandoned again. But alignment begins the moment you stop chasing what comes from fear and start nurturing what grows from authenticity. When you act from peace, not pressure, you vibrate with clarity. And clarity is the universe's favorite language. What would alignment feel like in your daily actions? It would feel lighter, calmer, truer. You'd stop over-explaining, overworking, over-giving. You'd simply be. And that being would draw the right people, the right paths, the right timing. What synchronicities are already guiding you? Those small coincidences, those gentle nudges are not random. They're whispers from the universe saying, "Keep going, you're in tune." When you finally choose yourself, you stop chasing and start becoming. And as you become, life unfolds around you like petals opening to the sun, effortlessly, naturally, beautifully. because the universe doesn't reward effort, it rewards alignment. Bonus lesson. The moment you choose yourself, everything aligns. What if this entire journey has been leading you back to your own heart? You've been searching for signs, chasing approval, waiting for doors to open, not realizing that every detour, every heartbreak, every delay was never punishment, but redirection. The path is not somewhere else. It begins right where you stand. Everything you've looked for outside has always been an echo of what your soul wanted you to remember, that you are the source. Like a circle closing smoothly, every experience brings you back to the center, to yourself. The betrayals showed you where not to place your trust blindly. The losses showed you what truly matters. The waiting taught you patience. Each moment has been a quiet guide, helping you choose yourself, not from pride, but from peace. When you finally stop running from your own reflection, you see everything clearly. The universe was never testing you, it was tuning you. Place your hand on your heart and whisper softly, "I choose peace, I choose me." Feel that truth gently hum beneath your skin, soft, steady, endless. This is not a claim of ego, but of harmony. When you choose yourself, you stop begging for alignment because you become alignment. You no longer chase energy that drains you. You no longer shrink just to be tolerated. You stand calmly in your worth, and life reorganizes around that energy. What part of you have you finally taken back today? Maybe it's the voice that fear once silenced. Maybe it's the joy that once felt unearned. Or maybe it's the courage to finally say, "I am enough." Even now, choosing yourself doesn't mean pulling away. It means including yourself in the love you freely give others. It means letting your own well be full before offering water to someone else. What does choosing yourself mean right now, in this moment? It may mean rest over rushing, truth over approval, trust over control. Every small act of self-honor sends a simple signal to the universe, "I am ready." And when you vibrate with readiness, the universe responds naturally. What alignment do you feel quietly forming inside you? Listen closely. That stillness is not emptiness, it's arrival. When you finally choose yourself, the circle completes, the path clears, and life begins to move in rhythm with your soul. Because the universe doesn't begin choosing you, it simply reflects that you finally remembered. You were the chosen one all along. Quick summary of the principles. Stop losing yourself to be loved. You suffer when you abandon your truth to please others. The moment you stop performing for love and start honoring your own heart, peace starts to return. Love doesn't need you to disappear. It asks you to show up as you are. Honor your energy. It teaches others how to treat you. The world mirrors how you treat yourself. When you respect your time, boundaries, and emotions, others naturally follow that example. Your self-value quietly teaches life what you deserve. Detachment is the purest form of love. True love allows freedom. When you stop clinging and start trusting, relationships grow without pain. Detachment cleanses love, turning need into understanding and control into compassion. Stop negotiating with your weakness. Growth requires honesty with yourself. Every time you excuse habits that drain your spirit, you lessen your own power. Stop finding comfort in pain. Rise where truth pushes you to grow. The universe mirrors your self-belief. Your beliefs shape your reality. If you hold doubt, life will reflect uncertainty. If you hold worth, life opens its doors. The energy you carry becomes the opportunities you attract. Surrender is not giving up, it's trusting the flow. Letting go doesn't mean losing control, it means aligning with wisdom. When you surrender to what is, resistance softens and peace takes its place. Trust the rhythm life already knows. Choosing yourself is the end of begging. You stop chasing validation when you remember your inner worth. The need for approval fades when you realize your value was never based on others' recognition. Self-acceptance is freedom. Compassion, without boundaries, becomes self-harm. Love must be guided by self-respect. Without boundaries, compassion turns into exhaustion. True kindness protects your energy while keeping your heart open. Let silence choose for you. In silence, clarity appears. When you stop forcing choices and listen deeply, intuition speaks. Stillness reveals answers that chaos hides. The art of allowing life to unfold. The more you resist life, the more it hurts. Peace begins when you accept what is, instead of demanding what should be. Moving with reality is the highest wisdom. The universe supports those who are aligned. When your intentions match your truth, life helps you effortlessly. Opportunities come not by force but by harmony. Alignment is the magnet of destiny. The moment you choose yourself, everything begins to align. Every experience has been guiding you towards self-recognition. When you finally honor your truth, everything around you finds balance. Choosing yourself is the ultimate act of spiritual alignment. When you finally choose yourself, you awaken a power that was always waiting within. The universe doesn't favor those who chase, but those who align. Each time you honor your truth instead of your fear, a new reality begins to form around you, one built on peace, authenticity, and quiet confidence. This is not arrogance, it's spiritual maturity, the understanding that you are already whole. Remember, the universe reflects the energy you hold. The day you stop betraying yourself, everything that truly belongs to you begins to return. In Buddhism, this is the law of inner harmony. As you come back to yourself, all things come back to you. What you seek is not outside you. When you return to your center, the whole world returns with you. If this message touched your soul, like and share this video, and share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to Buddha's Eternal Wisdom for more inspiring Buddhist insights on living a peaceful and awakened life.